Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Been having a lot of fun playing RimWorld.
Yeah. I haven't actually played RimWorld myself, but I've seen some gameplay footage of it. I've seen like streamers playing it, so I know the sort of basic loop. Um, but
Overall,
yeah.
RimWorld is my favorite game of all time, but that
Okay.
aside.
Nice. Um, Miss Puffles, I would say like making procedurally generated stuff is hard to do well. You can make something that just randomly puts shapes in a grid, but that's not necessarily going to be a good gameplay experience if you just generate a bunch of squares. Like, you have no guarantee that those squares are going to overlap in a way that even allows the player to get from one side of the map to the other. So, creating a good procedural generation system is difficult.
And making it interesting is very hard as well.
Yeah,
Like, one hand-placed level is so much more worth than 1,000 randomly generated ones.
I'm certainly of that opinion as well. Okay, well, I've dropped the link in chat for anyone else who'd like to check out Evostrike. I've gotten through the tutorial and a couple of the missions just so I kind of get the basic understanding of how the game works. So now we're starting to see, okay, so there's some unique icons here, which are actually awarding technology. Oh, they're all awarding technology. So what's the difference then in these sort of potion bottle and wrench icons over here?
They give different amounts of rewards. So,
Okay,
for example, the wrench mission gives you a lot more scrap than normal missions, and the potion bottle gives you a lot more technology.
I see. Okay.
And if it has a gun
Um,
icon, there's a person that will join you on that mission.
oh, all right. So you're building out your squad. Um, wow, this is such a UI heavy game. Do you want to talk a little bit about your actual objectives when you were designing the game?
My overall objectives were just I wanted to make a strategy game similar to Bad North, but how do I explain it best? Like Bad North was a big inspiration, but I like sci-fi things, and I wanted to make a strategy game that's mostly focused on building up your squad. Because what I love most about strategy games, in roguelikes, for example, is creating your units and like putting a lot of care into them, building them up to like a very strong unit. And I wanted to like capture that feeling in this game. So all your units have names and colors that you can give them. They get different traits along the run, so they are unique, and every run is slightly different. And I do plan on adding more different traits as I further develop the game. But yeah, I wanted to capture that feeling of having a personalized squad.
Yeah, was there any like XCOM DNA in that?
XCOM, not really.
I mean, you mentioned RimWorld. Was that also part of the inspiration for this like top-down simple style?
Yes, that as well. Like RimWorld has also like a lot of traits for the characters. Bad North as well. There you kind of develop your units. Like you start with basic units, and then in Bad North you decide if they're either going to be archers, swordsmen, or pikemen.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that concept and developed that further.
All right. I mean, I guess the reason I was asking about RimWorld is because like that one I was familiar with. Bad North? Am I saying it? Is that? I'm just not familiar with that game.
Oh, that's like a very cute game where you have to defend an island with you're like, what idea are they? Like Vikings? You have Viking
Hmm.
people, and then small ships will come from all sides, and you have to kind of fend them off and defend the island. And after that, you get some gold. You can buy them new equipment, and they learn new abilities. Like that's how Bad North works.
You're going to get one. Oh, I can just afford getting somebody to a grenadier rank. This will be interesting. no idea if what I'm doing is a good idea or not, but haven't messed up so far.
The start should be relatively easy.
Oh, and it's also nice that you get the new recruit right at the start of the mission.
Yes, they join you instantly, but recruits aren't really that strong, so yeah, they don't help out that much. It's usually very worth it to instantly upgrade them if you have the chance and the resources.
Yeah, what is influencing my supply gathering?
The supply at the start, you gain, I think, about 1.5 per second. The longer the mission takes, the more supplies per second you will get as your home base spins up the generator and starts generating faster.
Okay.
That's just like a feature I implemented to avoid stalemates.
Mhm.
Because I kind of want that if you're in an actual stalemate situation, I want that stalemate to resolve in favor of the player. Because that feels way more rewarding than being slowly overpowered.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's a very interesting like micro approach to real time strategy. Like most of the real time strategy games I've played are uh, Command and Conquer, which is decently fast paced. You can get in and out of a match in like 10, 15 minutes. StarCraft, which I'm not as experienced with, so I don't really remember exactly how long the matches were, but felt like they were pretty long. And then Supreme Commander, which is, you know, buckle up, a single unit might take 40 minutes to build unless you assign several units to work on building that thing together. Like that was a very long, large scale game. So this kind of like jump in, quick mission, drop down a couple pillars, quickly complete objectives, like it almost it's kind of naturally making me want to go for more daring objectives because I'm having this feeling of, oh well, the missions aren't that hard so far.
They will get harder.
I had a feeling, yeah.
It is planned that like up until difficulty rating 3, it's kind of the tutorial area and getting your squad ready.
Yeah, okay.
Because after difficulty 3, I start introducing the new enemy types.
Right. Okay, well, we need more scrap before we can upgrade our latest group, so let's keep on pushing forward. So, I guess relative to the vision you had in mind for the game so far, how do you feel it's turned out? Are you happy with the way the direction it's going?
I am pretty happy with where it's at. I think the only thing that is missing now is more content in general. Because if you play the game a couple more times, you will quickly realize that there aren't that many mission types yet. I currently have only 6 maps for each difficulty rating. And for difficulty rating 5, I have 12 different maps. Which sounds okay at first, but since the missions are very quick, you will realize that they're repeating really quickly.
Oh, I mean,
So I want to add more missions.
yeah,
Mission layouts.
I had a feeling that the like maps themselves weren't necessarily going to be dramatically different from one to another. One thing I want to mention, like I see you can sort of right click and drag out a line that your characters can follow along. Because I see my like medic being like having the fastest base movement speed and just like charging in to probably get killed. Um, oh, sure. It almost seems like a little Fire Emblem-ish in the way that like a character will say like, "I want to get better at this thing. Can I study this?" Or at least Fire Emblem Three Houses was a little like that.
Interesting. I never played any Fire Emblem game.
Yeah. Um. So what I was going to mention, like in Command and Conquer, what you could do is you could give a movement designation, but you could also like when you had a bunch of different units that you were telling to like go like select and tell them to move somewhere, you would highlight them and you could right click and hold. And what it would do is it would put all the units in formation so that any like squishy units would kind of automatically get placed to the back. And then when you let go, all the units would move at a normalized speed so that they didn't arrive in a sort of disorganized pattern. And I don't know how important that's going to be for a game like this, but I just figured I'd mention it because I'm definitely a little wary of that medic like running out in front of everyone. Okay, recruit. Let's try to
I'll write
all
that
of you.
down for now.
Let's try that out. Medic, please. Like the medic is moving so fast that they are in danger of like leaving the oxygen bubble.
I mean, they can leave the oxygen bubble for a short time. They have their own
Yes.
like oxygen.
I just see it draining down. I'm like, no, please don't kill yourself. Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if there was anything in particular happening there. So let's get back into our mastery. We've got 100 scrap. Ooh. Alright, can't afford that. Can't afford anything here. So mastery... Does mastery just kind of progress on its own?
Yes, it progresses on its own depending on what class they're currently assigned to. So if they get like to 100% mastery, then they'll have all the mastery skills, which just adds numerical stats to their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, the rifleman's, let's call it capstone buff, is 30% more fire rate, which is a lot. So it is worth to just keep them at rifleman level, even though you could technically afford the next upgrade until he has
Oh, I
learned
see.
everything he knows.
Okay, so it's not worth necessarily evolving a unit until they have reached their like 100% mastery.
Exactly, but you can also always evolve them back a level and then get that mastery up again. And it doesn't cost anything to evolve back and forth on evolutions they've already
Okay.
earned.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll keep on saving up resources, and I'm still early enough. I can go back to that, and then right, I can go back to that.
For
Everyone can
example,
go.
which
Yeah.
which this also allows, like in late game stuff, is you know how like there's 4 different trees,
Yeah.
and you will eventually like be able to evolve up to 2 trees.
Mm-hmm.
And you could like evolve the impact gunner first, get all of the impact gunner buffs, which is a lot of increased area size,
Mm-hmm.
and then evolve back to the mortar and have a mortar that has a very much increased area of effect damage with his mortar shots. Or you could evolve the railgunner path, which increases damage by a lot, then evolve the mortar path, and just have a very precise mortar that does a lot more damage than usual.
That's really cool. So
these are kind of like options you could take.
yeah, so I mean, that means you can construct like these sort of archetypes by like pick 2 of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that there's effectively would it be like 4 times 3, so 12 kind of archetypes, like combinations you could make?
Roughly, not.
I mean,
I don't know how valuable every is.
I guess also allowing for the possibility that you can evolve two branches fully, meaning that you could also invest in some other branches partially.
Yes, there's a lot of combinations like that.
Okay.
I just take the mortar, for example, because I like mortars a lot.
And by the way, what do I spend technology on? Because I see like I've been accruing that slowly, but I don't
Oh,
know.
technology is in the mastery tab. Then on the top right, there's technology, and that you can spend that on the constructs.
Okay.
So you can boost either health, range, or damage. And also
Oh.
technology is used in some events.
Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. This was maybe not the best time to revert everyone to the lower mastery level.
Oh, I see, I see.
Okay, we're just gonna hang out around here. Let's get a health pack. You grab health pack. Okay. Nothing you can't compensate for with some turrets. Right?
And also, if a unit dies, they are permanently lost.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Uh-oh. Can I... I can't escape the mission, so...
I guess technically you could. You could just return to desktop and it wouldn't save.
Oh, okay.
It's
Health, health,
technically save scumming.
health, 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 health. Oh my gosh. I picked the absolute worst time to do this. Let's have these folks move up here. Down another turret. Okay, we're gonna make it through. It's alright. Maybe not a flawless victory on this one, but yeah, I mean, I think that there's like an incredible amount of mechanical depth in this game. It's really just a matter of like getting the player familiar with all the mechanics, like how everything works. You know, naturally, as the developer, you're going to have a complete understanding of all the systems. And oh no, someone. Sure. You just don't need oxygen anymore. That's interesting.
Yes, that's one of the traits. So they will no longer need oxygen for that entire one.
Oh. Okay, so we can research damage boost, range boost, and health boost. So these are the three. Okay. So we can afford. Let's go for a rifleman and boost their
Oh, the
damage.
research is for everything. So that isn't unit specific.
Okay, okay.
I do plan on moving research to its own menu. Because it is kind of confusing having it at the same menu where all the units are.
I see. Okay, well, we've actually spent some of our technology at this point, and our mastery is really not up to. It's not increasing to the extent that I was kind of hoping, so I think I should put units back to their sort of leveled up status so I don't have another disaster on my hands. And we can afford nothing else yet. Okay. Let's head back then and try another mission. See if we do better this time. All right. So, I guess as long as units are sort of touching the blue bubbles, they still have oxygen, right?
Yeah. It's just if they're outside, they slowly lose oxygen. If they're inside, they gain it back at the same rate.
Right. So you have to place oxygen within existing oxygen, but with turrets you can... No, turrets you also have to... Everything is constructed inside oxygen bubbles.
Yes, the only exception would be airstrikes. They can be called anywhere, but you don't have airstrikes yet.
I see.
And also heal packs.
Yes, I do see the... I used them a
I
few
think
times.
they can be placed anywhere, yeah.
Get these guys close. They're not too close. Oh, I lost my medic. Shoot, I just realized who it was that died.
I didn't even see them die.
Oh, in the last mission. Because,
Oh.
and I was... These... Is there... Oh, you know what would be nice is if having some kind of, like, day-night indicator?
Indicators. So like a warning if it's, oh, having a clock somewhere.
Yeah, a clock or, like, a little bar, like, something spinning to show, like, now it's day, now it's night kind of thing?
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, nice. We mastered the rifleman on this one. Yeah, let's do that. Shields are charged, but nothing more than a few hits are registering. Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, this is an example for one event that needs to use tech, or has the chance to consume tech.
Right. Okay, so let's...
Because the outcome is semi-random. So for example, it could have been a much more dangerous asteroid field.
I had a feeling it's like, let's just not mess with that. Let's go ahead and invest. I can spare it for now. Okay, so 2.8 versus 2.81. Well, it's pretty close. It's neat to see the sort of path you take. All right. I guess the game is sort of built into just like discrete campaigns at the moment. Is that the idea?
Yes, exactly. The only thing you keep between campaigns is the meta tech that you earn when you lose a campaign.
Okay. Another one of these. Yeah, so it was about half a year of semi-regular work on this. Like, how much time do you feel like you were spending on it per week, I'd say?
I spend almost every day on it. Like, working a bit on it. Having days where I work a lot more on it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, with the 5th and 6th semester in my school courses, we have a lot more free time. Where we can, like, focus work on our project. So there aren't as many courses this year as there were, like, last semester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not as many individual courses, just more time that is spent, like, as you said, doubling down on the work you have to do.
Yes, exactly. And it's also more time spent on individual people, like giving them individual feedback and seeing what they want to do. So for example, like I published my game on Steam now, and they helped me a bit, like what are some stuff that I should look at in marketing and things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some stuff that I'm gonna learn this semester now too.
Nice.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, it's cool to sort of like choose your learning objectives like that. Oh, this map has been much more like slower paced than some of the other ones so far. Like I've had to really be careful in how I'm pushing forward. Uh-oh. I guess it would also be kind of neat if you sort of earned supplies by either killing enemies or destroying the nests. Or rather, I should ask, is there a reason that you didn't set it up that way in the first place?
I'm thinking about it. I could make it like that. No, I guess I didn't do that because airstrikes also cost supplies, and that could easily go into a feedback loop where you use an airstrike to kill a nest, then get supplies to get more airstrikes.
Yeah.
So I think I do want to have supplies as like a time-based currency that way.
Yeah, so then, you know what would be nice is if just below the UI for supplies, you had like a rate, maybe a little bar that was filling up that showed like how much supply you're earning per second. Just
That
because,
is a good point.
just because,
Something
right?
that also influences how much supplies you earn is the Overseer unit.
Okay.
You have a little bar under that unit which fills up, and once it fills up, it gains you, I think it was 30 supplies. I could add
Oh,
something like that.
nice. Just because I think that like if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have necessarily realized that there was a reason to, or like I wouldn't have realized that the amount that I'm earning over time is increasing. But that
I think
I
that's
guess
fine. Because I don't want to encourage a bunkering playstyle. It's just a hidden bonus that if you're in a stalemate, I want to give you that advantage over time.
well that's the thing is that unfortunately now that I knew that I kind of deliberately took it safe that last mission just because things otherwise felt like it's like oh I'm kind of facing up against the enemies. Um, I'm wondering if to encourage a more like push forward kind of play style, if there was some way you could like find caches of scrap so that they're finite and you can't just exploit it. You can't just keep killing enemies to get more. I'm just wondering what is a way to kind of encourage the player to keep pushing forward.
That is a good question.
Because in the Command and Conquer game series, which is my favorite real time strategy, you start around a base where there's like these fields of crystals, Tiberium in the game's universe, and you mine all that up, and it's really important for your economy to kind of go out into the map and secure additional sources of income. So I'm wondering if you could like either find scrap just like as here you touch this and you get X amount. Or what might be more interesting is there are like some sort of structure that you could activate or capture, and that would give you like +1 scrap per second. So you have to like push your way up towards these structures, and then once you secure them, now it's increasing your sort of amount that you're earning. To kind of just encourage the player to like scout the map. It gives you more um, ways to dynamically build the map as well, because now there are these kind of like side objectives. Like maybe you want to liberate this nest or fight through this wave of enemies because there are some of these like scrap generators or whatever behind them. And the player can kind of choose whether they need to go after a cache or not.
That's an interesting idea.
Again, I'm just mentioning it
Thinking,
because it's familiar to
yeah,
me.
I wrote that down, like as a rough idea, seeing how I could implement that and maybe further develop that idea.
Yeah, I mean, see how it feels. Like if you do want to discourage turtling behavior, there are other ways to do that. Like there's the sort of positive way of encouraging players to like further scout out the map in order to secure resources. There's also the negative way in terms of like enemies are going to get stronger over time, so you are incentivized to try to nip it in the bud and go after them quickly.
Yeah, that's difficult. Because I'm doing the opposite as well. The longer the missions go, the less enemies will be there. As like a way of you're thinning them out.
Yeah. I do also appreciate that you start the mission with oh, what's this little thing that's following me around? Is that like a little healing
That's
bot?
the Technomancer's ability. The
Oh,
Technomancer
okay.
constructs up to 5 drones.
Cool.
They do also gain benefits from the technology. So like if you've researched a lot of range, the drones will fire further.
Nice.
Also, the drones will distract enemies.
Yeah, that's really cool. So one of the other things, like obviously right now everything is very abstract. The characters are just strictly icons that illustrate what they are. But one of the things that the other reason I was really drawn to Command and Conquer and by extension StarCraft are because the characters in the game have a lot of personality. Like the units themselves have a lot of personality. In Supreme Commander, everything is just an anonymous little drone that makes a little buzzing noise when you click on it, and it just feels like maybe not the most interesting. So having the units actually having individual voice barks when you click on them, I thought along the same lines as like the way units have individual characteristics and names. If you were to actually like click on a unit and they say a little thing like reporting in, it could be a way to kind of make your squad feel a little more unique. It's like, oh, you actually get used to the voices that the characters have. Please put it down. Okay.
I don't know. I personally always found these kind of voice clips rather annoying in strategy games, especially if you hear them a lot.
That's true. And that, how do you solve that? By just recording a lot more voice clips, and that is not necessarily
And
feasible.
at that point, that's a lot of work that I don't know if it even fits into my game.
Yeah. No, perhaps not, and that's why I figured I'd mention it, because it is like generally speaking, a thing that I think is interesting, and specifically because Supreme Commander didn't have it, and I found the game to be less engaging as a result.
Yes, SK Vader also kind of recommended something like that. But he went more along the lines of like in Prison Architect, when you select the guard units, they make a little just radio chatter noise. Like not even a voice line, it's just some like activating a radio.
Yeah.
Something as a sound feedback that you selected it, which I guess it's not the same as an audio clip, but something along the lines that maybe just making that more responsive would help.
I think so, because
Right now doesn't add personality.
Right now there's nothing that you can hear when you select a unit. Like there's no sound for like telling a unit to go somewhere. There's no sound for like selecting a unit, right?
Oh, I guess. Okay, I have an idea. Instead of voice lines, I could have specific select sound effects depending on which class they currently are. So, for example, the mortar, if you select the mortar unit, it has a lot of heavy thud. If you select it, the medic unit maybe has some little beeping noises when you select it, something like that.
Oh wow, the mortar is doing some work on this mission. Is there a reason that you can't necessarily designate the targets that a unit will engage with?
Um, the reason is there's not really a reason. They have their own preferred targets. So, for example, the mortar will aim at buildings, the sniper will aim at the strongest unit it can find. I guess the reason is just so I can have it more fast-paced.
Let's see.
Because if you could individually select the units, first of all, most of the time that is not very beneficial since the bullets will hit whatever they impact first. They
Yeah.
can't shoot over units. And at that point, that kind of micromanage feels more frustrating than it is any worth.
Yeah, I guess, like... Oh my gosh, these guys... Okay, how come you're so low on health? Do I have it? Where's my medic? What's my medic doing? There we go. Wow, this one enemy that's been firing these purple beams has been really shredding my guys. Because that's what I meant was, like, I would really love to tell the mortar to just target that thing.
I guess that is a valid response.
Oh no, my recruit! Why wasn't the medic healing the recruit?
You don't have a medic.
Oh, because I evolved it to a Technomancer!
Yeah, the Technomancer heals constructs.
Oh.
It has the repair ability. So if you place down walls, it will repair the walls.
Place down... what, sorry?
Walls or barricades. You don't have walls yet.
Oh, okay, so you just can't do that. Okay, well, I'm dead.
Well, it also repairs barricades, turrets, lamps, oxygen pillars, all that stuff.
Okay.
But obviously, the walls and barricades would be most efficient.
How possible is it to, like, just turret creep your way through a map?
It is possible. I've seen it done. Using turrets and barricades, you can actually go right through to difficulty 5 without ever using meta tech.
Oh my gosh, these guys are not taking any damage from the turrets, though. Well, that was a disaster. It feels like I hit a pretty significant wall in difficulty there. Was that expected?
Which difficulty did you earn?
Well, I just mean that, like, I went from doing pretty well on missions
3.2, yes. You're supposed. At 3, there's a difficulty spike.
Yeah, you did mention that. I just didn't, like... Everything felt like it was moving pretty steadily until this. I guess the airstrikes are what you could use to actually designate a target, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what the airstrikes are for.
Okay.
Depending on which kind of airstrike you use. There are 5 different ones.
Okay, and I just didn't unlock any because of the units that I had picked? Or, like, how do you actually unlock airstrikes?
You now have earned, I think it was 100 meta tech. And now you can go, when you start a new campaign, you can go to the meta tech tab and then research that stuff.
Okay. Oh, alright, so meta tech, and then I see. So this is my equipment over here. And then, hang on, so lamp. And... okay, so these are the different airstrikes here. Oh, I can improve stuff. Ah, okay, but I can't afford the basic airstrike.
Ah, yeah, you're missing 50.
Auto dock. Golden wall. Waste of money and research.
The golden wall is just a joke unit, but it gives you an achievement. It's like the end of the game, for example. Like, if you placed it down, you proved you've gone through the entire game.
I see.
It's like the last achievement.
Nice. Well, how many people have actually, like, got the game on Steam so far? Do you have any stats for that?
I don't know. I just know 6 people have reviewed the game so far.
Okay.
think I can see the analytics in Steamworks.
Yeah, you should be able to.
The estimations were not that precise last time I looked.
Yeah, because I just figure that the game right now, like I see one quote unquote pre-release review, but the game right now is not early access. It's just out there, it's free, you're building on it.
Yes, exactly. I released it now because the next semester started. I'm working on a new project now, so this is like more a side project. So I'm gonna work on this like on the weekends.
Yeah, kind of the back burner sort of thing.
So I'm just slowly making progress on that, but I'm happy with where it's at right now.
Nice.
There aren't gonna be any new major features. If I'm gonna add something major, then it's probably gonna be the bestiary. That's something I still want, where you can look at the stats of every enemy.
Yeah, I guess I was also wondering, like, how exactly do you earn meta tech? Is it just related to how far you get?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's a rough estimation of how far you gotten and how much you earned.
And you only earn it when you lose?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no way to acquire it within a run.
Not currently.
Okay. Because in that case, I feel
Maybe
like, oh yeah,
maybe that could be something if I have like destroyed structures in missions. For example, the recommendation you made with maybe structures that give more supplies. Maybe I could also add structures that just have like 25 meta tech in them.
yeah. I mean, the only consideration then is like right now the map ends, like a mission ends when you defeat the last hive. But if
Mhm.
there are meta tech placed on the map, then you don't want the mission to immediately end because it's like, oh no, wait, I should have gone back and grabbed that.
That is right. I guess
So
either you would need to like spot that early and get that as fast as possible, or I need to add some kind of button at the end to like confirm leave.
I think so. I mean, I don't know if you necessarily want to add like more UI to the game, but because right now, like the other way you could do it is like you need to extract your units in order to succeed, like to win the map. So you need to like get them back to the ship, and that could be your way of indicating. And that I'm directly borrowing from XCOM. It would be a way to indicate like once the units are all around the ship, then you're able to extract with them. But
Yeah,
by the
that could
time
be a
you've destroyed,
system.
sorry,
That could be a solution, but it's also currently there is not really anything that happens after mission.
exactly, yeah. So by the
And
time you've destroyed
only
the last
implementing
hive,
that for the possibility of having sometimes a structure,
yeah,
it's not really worth it yet. If I had a lot more, then maybe.
yeah. I mean, it really depends on like if enemies continue to appear even though there are no more hives to eradicate. That's when it might be worth it. Um, because then it becomes a like you don't want to hang around and just keep killing enemies. But like, well, do you get mastery or XP for your units by killing enemies or just by completing the mission?
You mainly get XP from completing a mission, about
Okay.
200. And if you defeat harder enemies later on, you get some XP for them. Like some of the elite units give you 20 XP per kill.
So you can't just like hang around and farm XP off of units.
You could theoretically do that at difficulty 4 and 5,
Mm,
but at that point, it's like already the run is over. Your build is pretty much developed at that point. So that is fine. The only reason I have allow that kind of thing is if you lost like a unit pretty late in the run, you have an ability to farm them back up again.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I do think it would be. interesting to be able to manually invest in getting a new recruit just in case you lose someone. Like it should be obviously very expensive to have to get a recruit, but that way you still have the option of expanding your army. Is there any limit to how large your squad can get?
5. 5 is the
Okay.
limit.
Okay, so it's not like you could overwhelm the game by just continually building out your squad if you were able to like purchase a unit somewhere.
I guess not. I could make it like maybe 5 technology and you can construct a new unit.
Oh, but I was thinking of making it much more expensive than that, so that it's like when you see a mission that rewards a unit, that's very like you really want to go for it. But oh wait, sorry, you said technology, right?
Yes, technology.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the much more rare currency. I forgot.
Because currently technology does not have many uses, except for, the dialogue events or the research, like for buffing constructs.
Right. Do you get any bonuses for having a flawless mission, or is that just a descriptor?
Just a description. I was thinking about maybe adding an achievement if you get like, I don't know, 5 flawless missions in a campaign, but I don't plan on adding any benefits to flawless missions.
Seems to be like whenever
Because
I
like
get back.
the criteria for a flawless mission is as soon as one unit gets just 1 point of damage, the flawless criteria is over.
Rough. I mean, instead of making it like X many flawless missions in a row, it could just be cumulative. But on the other hand, it's also really easy to get flawless missions early on.
That is true. I'm probably not going to do anything more with flawless missions.
Yeah. The reason I was asking about the meta tech earlier, I just want to cycle back to that because I feel like at a certain point, if you feel like you're not going to succeed at a run and you need more meta tech, then it almost incentivizes players to like allow themselves to lose a run just to sort of farm meta tech. But I mean, on the other hand, you also don't know how much meta tech you're going to earn on the current run. So kind of by keeping that knowledge from players, you're kind of keeping them from just intentionally throwing a mission or throwing a run to build up the tech.
And also the meta tech kind of increases exponentially.
Okay. So it really is worthwhile to continue pushing forward.
Every mission that you finish increases your reward by a lot. Because it takes like it collects like research data as like a hidden stat behind the scenes, and then that research data gets multiplied by the final difficulty score that you reached. So for example, you reached a difficulty score of 3.2 on your last run, so everything you collected like behind the scenes got multiplied by 3.2.
Yeah, I think it is interesting, and I'm just wondering how much of that information should be exposed to the player and how much is fine to kind of keep it abstract.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Just because you do want to...
There's always the danger. If given the chance, players will optimize the fun out of everything.
Yes.
That's kind of like the danger. That's also why enemy stats are hidden, but I'm kind of just now thinking that maybe I don't want to hide the enemy stats, because it's nice to know like how much health do they have, how much armor do they have.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like a bit of a UI overload to display all that information on the screen at once, so I think you certainly want to be selective in how you show that information. But I guess if you put your cursor over something directly, it could have a little panel that shows it.
I could also, if I add the bestiary, maybe give abstract information about it. Like instead of saying it has 5 armor, it has medium armor, something like that.
Yeah. It could even just be like the... Well, I don't know. Does the width of the health bar have anything to do with how much HP they actually have?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
The health bar scales with their the amount of health they have up to some level at which it stops scaling.
Right. No, that makes sense.
And also, separate body parts do not have separate health bars. So later there are aliens that are made up of multiple body parts.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't come across that.
But those only appear at difficulty 5. So there will be some aliens that maybe have a hive on their back that spawn new units while they advance. Or having a shield generator on their back which blocks mortar fire and stuff from outside.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to wrap things up for now. But Tronic, thank you so much for sharing the project. I think it is really neat. I like this micro expression of an RTS, and I hope you get more people downloading the game, checking it out, and yeah, I don't know. Have you given any thought to trying to approach like Armor Games or something to have it up on their website?
I have not thought about that.
You could always
I was
ask.
just thinking of developing it a bit more, like over the next half year. And then
Yeah.
once all the semester stuff is over this semester, I'm gonna look at maybe how that game can go from there.
Yeah, certainly. I think it makes sense to continue developing it further, like in like up to the point that you're happy with it, and then you can approach them and say like, "Hey, look, this game is built out, and people. Here's the positive buzz that I've received on Steam. Is it also on itch.io?
Oh, I should update that. It still has the semester version at JO. So you can in theory see what the game was like at the end of my semester.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Oh yeah, you have the whole like wish list on Steam. I gotta say, it looks reasonably similar to how it appears now, but
Visually, it didn't evolve much.
mhm.
It's just from the semester version to the Steam version, the whole dialogue system wasn't there before. Elite
Oh,
enemies weren't there before. So like the enemies with multiple body parts,
oh yeah.
stuff like that.
Neat. Yeah, I guess I would love to see how this continues to evolve over time, and I do hope that I've been able to give some helpful feedback today.
Yes, thank you very much. That's some nice feedback to think about.
Certainly. Well, anytime you want to chat about this, or if you have any thoughts on how the game is progressing, like always, feel free to reach out.
Yes, I will do that. But then, goodbye for now. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Bye bye for now. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.